Good morning. It's Lindsay Grimont, the homemade mommy, and super thrilled to be here today to talk about excuses. So I want you, when you're listening to this, to take a moment to write down on 5 different pieces of paper the top 5 excuses you tell yourself about why you can't do something in your business. I want you to think through what these excuses are. I'm too busy. It's too hard. I just moved to a new town. Nobody's meeting in person. I'm not good at social media. All of those kinds of things. I want you to just put it down on paper, let it out, write those 5 things down on 5 different pieces of paper. And I want you to think about them as I am speaking to you about excuses today, and then they're going to come up again later. And if you want to just listen, you don't want to think about your excuses right now, that's okay too. But I think it'll be a good exercise to see what we do with those at the end. So I think what's really, really important about thinking about your excuses is to understand, I think I'm going to go through a list of probably 6 or 7 things here that are important points to consider, okay? Because there is no one way to do this business. As we go through the next number of months together in this, I want you to think about, and even if you're just starting out growing your business or you're just popping in here listening to this, it's important to understand that as you go through growing in any way, growing yourself, that excuses play a huge part, and nobody's going to tell you how to do it, because I have always found that when you tell somebody what to do, you are going to be met with an excuse. So have you ever felt that way? Like when somebody tells you what to do, you just want to do the exact opposite. I'm that way. So this is for you, right? All of this, all that we're doing is for you to kind of muddle through this and figure it out on your own. We can share tips and tricks with you from all different perspectives, because honestly, there are people from all different walks of life and circumstances who have built a business with Young Living, and they've all done it in different ways. And so only you can determine what way is going to yield the results for you. So I want you to really think about that when you find yourself coming back with an excuse, when you're listening to some tip or trick from somebody else, from me, from anyone else in here, that, you know, where is that excuse coming from? Is it because someone's telling you, you feel like someone's telling you what to do, and maybe that's not the way you want to do it or the way that you think is best? Really, all of it doesn't matter, because what you know to be true is what you're going to do, right? And then the results that you get are going to reflect what you did, right? So if you did something that works, you're going to see results. If you do something that's not working, you're not going to see results. So ultimately, you've got to learn from that, and that comes from you. So that's the first point. No one's going to tell you how to do this, and you have to work this your own way and have your own failures and your own stuff come up. But what I'll challenge you with is that you've got to think about you and what army, right? When you think about what your goal is, ultimately, maybe it's to hit executive, maybe it's to hit silver, maybe it's to be able to leave a job, maybe it's to make this certain level of income so you can do X, Y, Z, pay your kids' tuition, whatever that reason. Maybe it's just because you just love doing this, okay? Whatever that reason has to be weighty enough, strong enough to keep you going. And when you think about you and what army, that has a lot to do with your belief in yourself. And you and what army, you can't do this on your own. You get that help, that encouragement from lots of different places, including, you know, whatever you believe in, your God, the people you surround yourself with. But that encouragement, that belief matters. That belief matters. Without that belief, you're going to be adrift. and floating and not be grounded in any kind of belief that you can squash any excuse that's going to bubble up that you are going to deal with in the future. Okay, there are going to be a number of them, right? I mean, every life change is going to change how you see your business. And for me, I have always wanted to do this for the long term. I'm a very bold, big thinking kind of person. And for me, I wanted a long-term sustainable business. And so in order to have a long-term sustainable business, you have to know that there are going to be ups and downs and life changes. And really, we've all been through a huge life change the past couple of years. A lot of things have changed for a lot of people. A lot of relationships have changed. A lot of the way we do things has changed. And all of those things that once were aren't now, right? Like my life, even like years ago, before I even had my second child, that was what once was, but it's not how things are now, right? So any time can bring up new excuses. And the real question is, do you have a strong enough belief and a strong enough floor grounding, whatever you want to call it, anchor in what you want to achieve, what your goals are, your reason why you like doing this, to be able to continue? And only you can determine that. So that's really the second point, is you and what army, right, are going to be doing this, because you're going to think, maybe you think I can't do this. Maybe you think I can do, this big, massive goal and it doesn't happen. Then what happens to your belief? So all of these excuses are going to bubble up. And the question is, how do you squash them? You and what army, right? So I always believe that God is behind me and I can do anything with his help. And that his belief in me, right, knowing that I have a huge purpose, is going to be able to squash any excuse. But really, the past year for me, I've had a lot of excuses. And I realized recently that those excuses were rooted in my loss in belief and confidence in myself. And I had to recognize that in order to squash that excuse. And I didn't even recognize it right away. So if, that is something that's been going on with you, then you have to understand how you're going to squash the excuses. And this is coming from someone who has achieved a lot of success, a tremendous amount of success. And even I lost my footing and my confidence. So it can happen to anyone. And there's also a way to fix it, right? So you and what army? That's the other point. So most people that I have helped in this business with coaching or whatever I have encountered with someone, I firmly believe that your worth matters. Your belief in your worth matters tremendously for this business. Most people that I talk to that have a lot of excuses have a very low self-worth. And this is something that we all have to work on. And I think it's just important to say every day that I am worthy. I am worthy of whatever it is that you want to achieve. I am worthy of just, being with my kids. I am worthy of being the best mom ever. I am worthy of being the best wife ever. I think it's really important to say those words every day, because there's a true, I just see a true issue across the board with women and men growing a business who just truly don't believe they're worthy of growing this business. And that just leads to a whole slew of excuses, right? Because if you don't have that self-worth, then you're going to make up any reason why you can't do something. And so when you have those excuses, you wrote some of them down at the beginning of this. Hopefully you're still kind of thinking through some of them. I am worthy, right? That really, really matters. And your excuses are a mirror for your self-worth. They are a mirror for what you are feeling right now in this moment about yourself. And if you can recognize that and work on your self-worth, then you will build that anchor that you need to have the confidence to do the things that you need to do quickly and when you need to do them. Now, when I say that quickly and when you need to do them, that is really pinned into your intuition and trusting your gut of when to act and what to do, right? We often wonder and you want someone to tell you exactly what to do. And like I said at the beginning, no one's going to tell you exactly how to do this business. So then who tells you what to do? You do. You tell yourself what to do based on listening to your gut through prayer, through meditation, through those quiet, weird moments where something just pops into your head. You have to have faith and understanding and belief that you're going to be able to tell yourself what to do when you need to. And that is truly pinned in on your self-worth and your belief in yourself. The next point I want to make is that encouragement really matters, and you need to seek out encouragement wherever you can get it. Whether that's, from your support system with your family, but maybe your family is not very supportive of what you're doing. Then what are you going to do? Maybe it's from your friends. Maybe your circle of friends is not very supportive of what you're doing. Then what are you going to do? So if all these people aren't supportive of you, does that mean that you just shouldn't do it? Or does it maybe mean that you need to find encouragement within yourself? Because, every cheerleader you will find in this business at some point won't be able to cheerlead you anymore. And so the important thing to realize is that over the long term, you need to learn how to encourage yourself, but also surround yourself with people who will encourage you, because that definitely matters. I have found that when I am lacking belief in myself, just a tiny bit of encouragement from someone else, wherever I can get it, even if it's just, some little quote I read on an Instagram post, just reminds me how to wake up and just have, listen to that encouragement, take it in, and move ahead for another task or another day. So that negative mindset, we, for some reason, have learned to just say stuff, right? I had you write down these excuses. You're going to say those things, but we're going to do something with them in a second. But that negative mindset is just going to allow those excuses to just pour on out, right? Like, I'm just, I'm not good at this. I am not able to do this. No one's answering me. No one wants to buy oils. No one, right? That negative mindset is very important to identify, because if you think about, if I just sit up here on the moon looking below at all of this stuff going on, it's like then your perspective changes, right? Then you're above it all and you can say, wow, that wasn't really about me after all. That was because, they're going through some other stuff, or, can I just actually hearing the words that you're saying out loud with a perspective of sitting above it will help you to see how silly some of the things that you're saying and the excuses that you're making are, and that you really can overcome them. If you look at now your 5 excuses that you wrote down at the beginning of this, maybe you're not quite done. Maybe you only got a couple written down. That's fine. I want you to ask yourself now, what can I do to kind of tick this off my list, right? I just moved to a new town and I don't know how to meet people. Ask yourself, what can I do now to resolve that? What solution can I come up with? And then once you've kind of come up with that solution, take some time after this is over to think through that and think of just some ideas, brainstorming. Don't, let your worth cloud what you might write down for the solution. And then I want you to literally rip up your excuse and throw it in the trash. Okay. And then proceed with the solution. I have found there's a great book behind me on my shelf called QBQ, and it's called The Question Behind the Question, QBQ. It's a great read. I highly encourage you to check it out. It's a really short book, really short read, but it asks the question, what can I do? And teaches how, when we ask why or how, that we come up with these excuses. But when we ask, what can I do? It kind of it empowers you, right, to do what you need to do and move on. So I hope this helped you today to squash all of those excuses. And I hope you understand that we are a support system here to help give you tips and encouragement. But in the end, you are in charge of your business. You are your own North Star. And I hope you learn to hone into that, to hone into your gut, your intuition, your self-worth, and become your own cheerleader, and become a cheerleader to others, because it will help you learn how to encourage yourself even more. Have a wonderful day pondering this, and I can't wait to hear your comments and your reflections on this topic, because it's a big one. And we'll chat again soon. More exciting things to come. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.